Hey everybody, so I just wanted to talk to you today about some study skills and strategies that you can use throughout your college career and really any time. So first off, it's super important to get good sleep. 8 hours is the ideal amount. If you can get more, that's great. And even if you can only get 7, that's okay too. Just getting a lot of sleep is super important to your brain's health, and it helps you just work and function more effectively. The next thing that you should do is studying with other people. Working collaboratively with other people is super important because if you have questions, somebody else in your group might be able to answer that for you. Or if multiple people in your group have questions, that means multiple people in your class have the same question, and it would be worth asking your professor about. Next, you'll want to find a place to study that works for you. This is super, super important because knowing where you work best can really lead to your success throughout your school. If you go to K-State's website and search for the K-State map, they have a sidebar that tells you where to find quiet study locations and just normal study locations. If you are one of those people who likes to have a little bit of noise in the background, going to a coffee shop would be beneficial. And also that K-State map will show you where you have access to printing, which could potentially be beneficial to your studies. Next, this is kind of what my study plan looks like. I like to look at my materials at least a week in advance. This gives me some sort of starting point to where I can refer back to during my test so that I know that I've at least seen all the materials more than once before the test. Now, under a week out, I like to make a Quizlet so that I can quiz myself over and over again. And I like to use the Quizlet multiple times a day at different parts of the day. This is just to exercise my brain a little bit. You know, if you wake up and you just quiz yourself, your brain will be a little bit tired, but throughout the day, your brain starts to wake up and gets more function out of itself. So 2 days before the test, I like to have a friend quiz me, and that helps me figure out what I don't know, and then I'll start hammering out what I don't know before the test. And I'll do this again the next day just to kind of narrow down what I need to focus on, and hopefully by the day of the test, I'll have everything hammered out that I need to. And on the day of the test, I like to make sure I get a good night's sleep the night before. And I also like to make sure that I'm eating good food throughout the entire day before the test, just so that I'm not hungry and can focus on my test and not eating. Now, this is kind of a section on what to do when writing a paper. I like to include this because I write a lot of papers, and really, no matter what major you're in, you will have to write a paper at some point. So the first thing that I would suggest doing is go to the writing center and sit down with a tutor and just talk about the paper. You know, this is a great starting point because they can help you get an outline of what you want to do so that when you actually sit down and type your paper, you don't feel lost. You at least have a plan. So use this outline to make a rough draft, and then once you have at least a decent rough draft, it doesn't even have to be finished, go into the writing center again, talk to the same tutor, talk to a different tutor, and they can help you find out if you're on the right track in regards to your guideline. So after this second tutoring session, you'll want to make changes on what happened and then turn it into your teacher. Also, if you're able to revise it after turning it in, you want to bring it back to the Writing Center so that they can go over with you your teacher's notes and see what you really need to work on.